Medusa. Was that intense enough for you?
Oh. I don't know. Can you repeat yourself?
So welcome to the Macho Show. Welcome. We are the machoest show in all of the YouTube universe. The YouTuberverse.
We're the cream of the crop. Oh, yeah.
Oh my god. That was super creepy.
Yeah, there was actually a segment where Randy Macho Man Savage was talking about how he was the cream of the crop, and he kept pulling out these little, you know, those little milks you see at restaurants for coffee. He just kept pulling them out. It was like, "Ooh, yeah, I'm the cream of the crop."
What?
It's like
what? Well, so, I guess there's a reason.
I'm like, is he on something? But now that I know like how wrestling works, it's like someone actually wrote that and thought, "Ooh, this would be a cool idea."
Oh my god! Hello to Tiha Raweha in the chat. I'm so sorry if I butcher that. I don't know if that's your name or just.
Hey, you're a hot chick. You can butcher it all you want.
True. Female butchers get away with a lot more murders than men. Oh, yeah. Anyways, I don't know what the topic is for the show, but apparently, Mr. Man over here is going to take over and let me know.
The man knows.
Yep.
Well, we haven't really talked about relationships in a little bit, and I wanted to take something from my personal pathetic life and say that I'm actually quite proud of myself in this situation because, 10 years ago, it probably would have gone very differently. And, I think it's still good to hammer this stuff in because as men, we keep valuing ourselves based on women. And it's so funny that we do that. It's like we're taught from a young age that we have no value except that which is assigned by a woman. We keep saying, well, you have to love yourself first, but that's bullshit. Most people don't love themselves.
Yeah. That's mostly directed at women, though, because women are the ones who are sensitive and need to have positive reinforcement, but don't call them sensitive because that's sexist.
Oh, someone called back from our previous show about talking about Delta, Sigma, Gamma, and Zeta personalities.
Yeah.
I don't know if there was a Zeta personality, but there was Omega personality. We
apologize for the random cutout last time. I swear to God, I came back before 10 minutes. But for some reason, it ended anyways, so who knows?
Well, YouTube hates us.
Yeah, that's what I've come to conclude. Sorry I'm shaking my legs so much. I've had literally about maybe 3 or 4 hours of sleep, and I worked a 16-hour overnight shift last night, so I'm hanging in there. Donate or buy my art to support my
I'll be right back.
Me moving out. Okay. I'll talk more about my art then. So yeah, we have to move out, and I just got my van fixed. Hopefully it's good for a while. But yeah, so I'm selling lots of art. I've got a shit ton of more art over here, but these are just a couple of my paintings. I'm selling GIFs, either sexy, whatever I can do, literally whatever. It could be an art GIF, whatever. GIFs, photo sets of cosplay or whatever. Just message me or on Twitter or Facebook or Instagram or whatever. So yeah.
Sorry, it was some guy. I hate the
some guy
people we just get around here. It's like there's only two types of people we get. Like, oh, I'm a salesman of some sort. I was just at your neighbor's house. Like if it's like for the alarm companies or bug guys, or we get some Mexicans come up as like, we cut your lawn, we cut your trees.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Holy
Almost
shit.
every day I get that.
That's crazy. Do you live in like a suburban area?
Oh yeah, I live in Mesa, Arizona. So it is a suburban area, but we also
Jeez.
get a lot of illegals, so they're always looking for work. And
I'm
bless
glad
their hearts,
that,
but
yeah, I'm just glad that I live in a house behind a house for now. I have to move out soon, but yeah, I don't really get random knocks. If anything, people that are trying to find me don't find me, and my mail ends up going to somewhere else. Oh, but yeah. So, did you want to continue with what you were talking about?
yes. So I wanted to talk about well, I'll come right out and say it because, some might be embarrassed by this, but I'm not. I've been writing prisoners.
Ooh, naughty.
I'm a pretty lonely guy because I'm disabled. I don't get to go out that much. And the only human interaction I really have anymore is with modern Medusa. And, well, the dumb bitch is getting married. So, I mean, you know how it is.
I know. Stupid bitch.
Sorry, I'm looking something up right now. Okay, so my personality chart that I have doesn't include Zeta, so I'll do some research on Zeta personality types. But I'm willing to bet that.
Are you actually kidding me? Are they actually? Are you serious? Are there really that many?
Yes, human beings are complex beings. It's not just alpha.
Then why are those the only ones that we hear about?
Because people are simplistic. Well, simplistic minded. They prefer a black and white world, a 1 or 0. Either you're the top dominant alpha.
Well, then which one of those am I? I want to know.
I'd have to sit down and figure it out.
Well, fuck. No, I don't want to do research. You tell me.
You could do research. She's not the research person. I am.
Yeah.
Bitch. Anyway,
I'm kidding.
So I've been mailing prisoners, and it's mostly been a disaster. No surprise there, but to be fair, most women I've dated belong in a loony bin. I mean, they were absolutely batshit crazy. So I don't think it's that much of a stretch that I'm mailing prisoners right now. So, I mean, go ahead and take your pot shots at me. I don't care. But there have been a couple of girls that a conversation has emerged. And there was this one, and, I really tried to give her a chance. But it was kind of funny, but I was telling her about some of the bullshit I have to deal with my mom and how toxic my mother is. And she's like, oh, me and your mother would get along fine. I'm like, what? And she's like,
so
oh,
weird.
Yeah, people have always called me a vile cunt. And I'm like, well, there's a difference between being called a vile cunt and being a vile cunt. And those were her words. She called herself a vile cunt. And she was actually proud of this fact. So, and given the history I've had recently with, like, having an ex-girlfriend who beat me up, which, that's hard to admit, but I do so because, well, a lot of guys get beat up by women and don't talk about it because that somehow makes us less masculine. But, it does happen. And, I started telling her about, my issues with this and her saying that she's like a vile cunt. She actually laughed. So it kind of got us into this whole argument. And she finally just like, well, you know, when I'm vile content, it's just sort of a verbal thing. But, you know, it's like we pretty much have stopped talking to each other. But it's like, you know, 10 years ago, I would have been so desperate. Not I'm desperate now, but I'd been so desperate for her attention. I would have just given into her. I would have let her walk all over me because, you know, I had no self-respect. I had no value in myself. And I would let a woman control what could be said about me. And, you know, it turns out she was really just using me. She wanted me to send her things. Like she wanted me to send her artwork so she could do tattoos because she's kind of a tattoo artist. She wanted me to send her workouts so she could, you know, do more workouts. So, and that was the only time she was ever excited. But whenever I tried to share, you know, deep and personal things with her, she had very little to say or just flat out laughed at me. And, you know, I'm very proud of myself that I basically told her to go kiss my ass.
Good.
And, yeah, no, it doesn't sound too exciting of a topic, but, you know, it was like what I'm saying about us men. We give women so much to define us. And I know throughout my life, I've always done that. Like, I would only date women who were interested in me, not women I was ever interested in. So I ended up in a lot of horrible relationships because I just accepted that if a girl was interested in me, then she was perfect for me, and not for me to ever go chase a woman I was interested in because usually they were out of my league. I had no self-respect. And I have self-respect now. I'm teaming with it, but it's like I kind of look at it this way, you know, I'm almost 40. And if I get into another relationship, I want it to be the last relationship. And I don't want to blow it. I don't want to just pick someone who doesn't even value themselves. Like, she talks about, like, wanting to change who she is. She wants, like, oh, you know, I'm going to get out and I'm going to be a good mother, because apparently she has 2 kids, but she hasn't really seen either of them because she's been in and out of prison since she was 15. But she doesn't want to change who she is. And, you know, I tried to express to her, it's like, who you are is what got you into prison. And yet she feels so certain about who she is that she just won't go back again. And I'm not going to waste my time on someone like that. You know, a good relationship is a partnership. And look at modern Medusa's relationship. You know, she could be a horrible, horrible cunt. I mean, some days she is, but, you know, she respects her man. She gives her man a lot of freedom to be who he is. She doesn't define who he is. He's allowed to decide for himself. And, you know, these days it seems like girls like modern Medusa are the rare breed. But they're out there. And, you know, I'm going to open up the floor to everyone else and, you know, kind of share our war stories when it comes to women, because, ooh, boy, do I have plenty of them. Like, I've been talking to people off the air, just private conversations, and, you know, they think they had it rough, and then I start telling them about all of the bad stories I have, and they're like, man, you have it so much worse. And I'm like, I know. But it's not a contest, but it's like I certainly have my fair share of really crazy chicks that I've dated. So the main point that I want this show to be about, and this is kind of just a goof off show anyway, so don't let women define you. And I know we talked about it during our holiday trifecta of Christmas, New Year's, and Valentine's, the loneliest holidays for men. But don't let women define you, because if you do that, they're just going to chew you up and spit you out and go and find a cock that will mistreat them badly and then call it love. And you deserve better. All men deserve better. Mm-hmm. So, all right, I open it up.
Well, I was going to say women too. Women shouldn't let other women control them or what they say or how they think. Like, be your own person. Like, just because one woman like has some opinion doesn't mean that you have to have that opinion just because you're a woman. Like, that just like starts more toxic femininity pretty much, like it just spreads more bullshit around. Like, like my mom told me when I was young, like, all men just want to get in your pants and that's all they want. Like, oh no, that's actually not the case. And what do you know? I'm actually the one that wants to get in their pants.
Well, to be fair, I can't get into your pants because you're not wearing any.
True. I'm wearing a one piece. It's a little more difficult for the rapists.
Well, especially since you're like camouflaged with your couch right there. It's like I can't tell where the couch begins and you end.
You can't see me. I am stuffed animal. E.T. phone home. But yeah, like I was saying, like, women, I feel like they just pass around, that misogynist bullshit, and it's like, can you just not be so hateful towards men and like, less glorifying of drama queens and materialistic retards and like I just don't. I've never understood the personality of people who are so obsessed with materials and perfect men that buy them all these things. I'm like, who wants that? Literally, why? What is the point?
Well, I recently encountered a woman because I was in a chat room and we got to talking, and it was like a nudist swinger chat room. Yes, I'm a nudist swinger, even though I'm wearing clothes now for more benefits. But she's like, "Oh, I'm not a nudist and I'm not a swinger, but I'm looking for a serious relationship." And I'm like, "You're on a nudist swinger website, but you're not a nudist swinger." And I'm like, "Okay,
I'm just really desperate."
I'll play along. Let's see where this goes because I'm really curious where she's going to take this. So we start talking for a little bit, and she's like, "Well, I don't care if a man is a swinger." I'm like, "So let me get this straight. You want to be with a guy who sleeps with other women?" And she's like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Why?" And she's like, "Well, he's going to do what he's going to do." And she was talking about how she was married to a guy that slept with his sister, and she was angry.
His own sister?
Yeah, but she was angry not because he slept with his sister, but because he didn't reveal it to her. She had to find out the hard way. I'm like, okay, this chick's insane that she's angry that she wasn't told about it. And
I'd be the same way.
So, long story short, her shtick was that because I told her, well, I don't really work. I'm disabled. She would kind of have to work for both of us. Like, no, you have to work. And I'm like, why? And she's like, a man is supposed to work, and then I stay home, and you give me money so I can spend. You decide how much I make. And I'm like,
God.
You're a drag con. And, it'd been one thing if she said, I stay home and take care of the kids. Mm-hmm. Because she had like a daughter or something. But no, it was her staying home. And that was it. She just wanted a man to work so she could be lazy. That was the whole thing about her.
I literally cannot even imagine being like that. Ever. Like, I will never, ever stop working unless, like, I mean, it really depends on the job. Like, if I became, like, if I was able to follow my dreams and become an actress and produce music, then fuck yeah, I'd be working forever. And even if I still made money, I'd still be working. Like, I don't understand people who just are so lazy that they don't want to do anything. Like, really? That's just your life? You're just going to sit in your house until you die? Okay, whatever. Ugh, people are fucking weird.
Thank you. Well, and they're talking about in the chat with Matthew Cougar that they're in their pack, like, and this is true. They have this in-group bias that as long as you're in the group, you're safe, and you hate everyone outside of the group, but they probably hate their leader. Well, look at what intersectional feminism is now. Like, if someone steps out of line just a tiny bit, they all pounce on her. What was her face? That one feminist who was like sex positive and talked about how to have sex and all of that. I can't remember. Was it Lacey Green?
Maybe, probably.
But, she wanted to talk to an MRA, and like all the feminists jumped on her, and it was like, no, you can't do that. That's horrible. You're a horrible person, and turned on her. Look at what happened to Cassie J. She wanted to do a film on the MRAs, and she had gotten funded many times before for documentaries, but because she wanted to show a positive spin on the MRAs, the feminists hated her. And this is what they do. Either you think like us, or we're going to castrate you alive. We're going to skin you alive. We're going to hurt you any way we can. And if it wasn't from the large response thanks to a Breitbart article, the Red Pill film probably never would have happened.
Oh boy. So we don't have a guest, so if anybody wants to come on, feel free. But if not, it's probably just going to be a short show because I'm very, very tired.
Yeah, I'm tired too. But, another person in the chat, and I'm trying to read these in order, so I do see everything that people are saying. But where was it?
Someone on Twitter said, sorry, what was that? I was busy with my penis. Stop bragging, okay? You're lucky that you have a penis to play with.
Hey, I was so poor growing up. If I wasn't born a boy, I'd have nothing to play with.
Whoa.
Oh, here it is. Matthew Kogar. It feels like you're one letter away from cougar. But he said, stop doing the nice guy thing. And yes, stop trying to be women's friend. If you want to be a woman's friend like I am with Modern Medusa, fine. There's no way Modern Medusa is going to have sex with me. I mean, I'm hoping we're alone together in a hotel room and I slip something in her drink and then maybe something happens. But, I mean, me and Medusa, we're not going to happen. And I'm okay with that. We've had a really great friendship for, 3 years now? But don't try to be nice to a girl hoping you'll sleep with her, because all you're going to do is have her use you. You're going to get frustrated. She's going to figure out that you've been wanting sex and turn it against you. It's like, oh, I'm only good for sex. And it's just like, it's a headache. You separate the girls you want to fuck from the ones you want to be friends with.
I mean, at least I told you, like up front, that I wouldn't be interested instead of like teasing you and leading you on the whole time, like a bitch. Oh, that's fucked up. That's fucked up to
And
do.
I'll be honest. When she told me, it's like, look, I'm not really interested in you in that way. It fucking hurt, but I'm glad she said it because pretty much our friendship, it's like, yeah, we flirt with each other all the time. We say like, horrible all the time,
I
but
mean,
it's like
yeah, we
I
can talk
know.
about anything. Like we're good friends, but it's like, you know, like
But
I've had
we
dudes
know
reject me
that there's a
too.
limitation of
Yeah, I've had
what it
dudes be
is.
like, "I just want to be your friend," and I'm like, "Fine."
No, I was happy that you did, in all honesty,
Hmm.
because if you didn't, I'd be wondering, well, does she want to sleep with me? Because again, we live in this culture where the only time guys get complimented is when we're in a relationship. And so if a woman compliments us outside of a relationship, we're stuck wondering, does she want to sleep with me? And it's sad that we think that, but it's like the only time I get
Yeah,
complimented is when I'm in a relationship. So for
it's
you to spell
true.
it out so specifically, it's like, yeah, it hurt, but I'm glad that you did because now there's no, mystery. There's no will they, won't they, blah, blah. It's like, I know it's not going to happen. So it gives me a lot of freedom. I could talk to you about my penis, and you'd be like, okay, whatever. And,
Yeah.
you know, and it
Oh.
has allowed us to become closer as friends.
Yeah,
So,
well, see, if I couldn't talk about sex with someone, I couldn't be their friend. Like, that's what I don't understand about a lot of women too, is like if like some of them, I don't know, like the way they react to sex is weird because they're like, if they're trying to be just your friend, like they might like joke around about stuff, but then they'll like be like, no, we can't talk about that or something. It's like it's stupid. Like, why can't we just talk about anything? Like talk about literally anything, and it's just it's just bonding pretty much. Like, what? I don't know why you wouldn't want to talk about shit like that with people, because I mean, like a lot of chicks, I'm trying to think of the example I was thinking of earlier.
well, I
Like,
have an example of that because, a lot of women actually want men to be the nice guy. They want them to be the friends because it's like they get the benefits of a boyfriend without sleeping with them.
yeah,
They can manipulate men to do what they want for them and
I've
tease
never
that they
understood
wanted
that.
sex. And the girl that I'm talking about that I was mailing in prison, she did that shit to me. Like,
Yeah,
she figured out pretty early on that I'm hypersexual. And she would give me like
and
explicit details with her concerning sex. Like, she wrote me a letter and she gave me like a detailed account of the last girl she had sex with in prison. And I think she did that to be like kind of a tit for tat sort of thing. And I don't mean that in a dirty way, but she gives me something I want, I'm willing to give her something she wants. But in many ways, it was like a tit for two tat. She wanted more and more stuff, but gave me very little in return. And that's how I kind of figured out she was using me, because all of a sudden she's like, yeah, I really don't want to discuss sex because I'm in love with another guy. I think that's cheating. And it's like, but supposedly she was in love with this guy long before she met me, but she was discussing explicit details of her sex life. And it's like,
yeah,
she wanted me to be the nice guy who's her friend, tease me with sex so she could extort me.
yeah.
And girls do this a lot. And they're always talking about, oh, guys just want to be your friends so they'll sleep with you. It's like, no, you want guys to want to sleep with you
Yeah.
and be nice to you so you can
Sex
exploit.
appeal is a great weapon for chicks. You don't see dudes fucking whipping their dick vein out for chicks to try and get free shit, I mean, I have a perfect example of that. Like my friend, he was texting a chick who has a boyfriend, and she's texting him about how she's masturbating because her boyfriend won't fuck her. And he's like, oh, does she want me to fuck her? Does she want me to do this? I'm like, dude, she obviously does. Like, she's gonna act like she doesn't, but yeah, she obviously does. But she's gonna try to play hard to get and be like, no, of course not. Oh, I love my boyfriend, but I'm gonna tell you about when I masturbate because you might give me free weed sometime. Like, it's fucking stupid. You're the best, said Mark King. Oh, thanks. Oh, you're the best. I'm still working on your drawing, by the way. I'm sorry it's taking so long. But yeah, I mean, that shit is just stupid. I personally never succeeded at this. I'll be sexy and flirty to everybody just out of the kindness of my heart, and I'll be the one that they mooch off of. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. I'll be like they'll be like, oh yeah, you're so beautiful, I want to do all these things for you, and then we go hang out, and they're like, yeah, I have like $10 in cash, how much do you have? And I'm like, thanks. Like, I don't care about splitting shit, obviously, but it's like when they literally like mooch off of me constantly after like saying that they're gonna like do nice things for me, I'm like, okay, are you like, I don't even care if you're trying to get in my pants, you're not doing a very good job. Yeah, that's besides the point. Yeah, girls just react.
Well, that actually happened when you and me met, because it was for the Red Pill screening, and you needed a place to stay, so I let you, stay in the house that I was at, and you and Andrew got to sleep in my bed while I slept on the floor. I think that's what happened. Maybe it was the other way around. But you were in my room, and the two of you were together, and then I'm like, oh, you're smoking weed, so I mooched off you and got some weed.
Oh, yeah.
One hit. But yeah, I was mooching off you.
Nah, I don't consider that mooching. That's just friends.
I know. I'm just
right. Yeah, but it's weird. Like, people are weird.
Well, another comment that someone made is apparently their exes. This is Det Laugh Eartime. One of his exes stabbed him with a hairpin.
Oh my god!
And I'm assuming you're a dude because, lesbian relationships are certainly violent, but I'll assume you're a dude. And yeah, we need to start talking about this stuff a lot more. But it's like I was talking to my feminist friend, and bless her heart. She tries to stay away from the crazy feminists, but she's also under the delusion that feminism is a good and positive thing. I start telling her about some of the things that I have to deal with on a daily basis, and she's like, she's shocked because she's not heard of any of it. Like the whole bathe in male tears. She never has heard of that.
Wow.
And she's like, yeah, that is way too extreme. I'm not into that at all, but I can't believe that women are doing that. And I'm like, yeah, well, the joke's on them. Male tears is sperm, so. But
I want a mug like that.
The biggest problem that we have is that, and this is why we do the calendars, we're hoping to try to spread the message a little bit more, is that no one knows that these are realities because it's like the news media tries to spin things a certain way. All white men bad. All lesbian, trans, Black Lives Matter, feminists good. The more oppression points you have, the more protection you need. So when we talk about, men being falsely accused of rape, well, that only happens to 2%. And it's like, even by your own logic, you're still talking about 16,000 people a year that are being falsely accused of rape by your own model. And it's like, you don't care?
No, because rape is more important.
Well, and like the same feminist friend, I talked to her about Boko Haram. And, it was the Save Our Girls. And she's talking about how bad it is that their little girls are getting raped. And I'm like, well, yeah, but like several months before, they set fire to a building with boys between the ages of 12 and 18, who most of them were sleeping. Some of them were awake, but they set the building on fire and killed all of them. And any who tried to escape, they just shot them dead. And I'm like, the thing is like, that's one of the worst ways to die, but death is permanent. And she's like, I'd rather die than to be raped. I'm like,
okay.
That rape is, you can recover from it. You can still live a full life despite being raped. But you think that rape is worse than death? You have seriously mixed up priorities.
Yeah, no, that's ridiculous. I mean, I think pedophiles should get the death penalty. That's a different story. But it's like, I've been raped. I haven't been violently raped, but it's like, it's just sex. I'm sorry. I'm not saying rape isn't bad, but it's not being fucking brutally stabbed or being amputated or fucking like watching your friend being blown up in front of you, unless you're in some kind of like assault slash rape situation. Of course, that would be even more traumatic. But it's like, stop. Women they're literally so terrified of sex because they're making themselves so terrified of sex, and it's like, just fucking chill. Like, it's sex. You can say no if it doesn't work out. You can fight back. Don't just sit there and act like it's like you can't do anything. But it's, I don't know, and everybody's gonna say, oh, I'm blaming the victim. Well, not everybody, but all the feminists will say, I'm blaming the victim, and it's like, well, you got responsibilities too, bitch.
Mr. Misanthropic, jump on in if you want to. Well, and that's another thing I talked to my feminist friend about, was affirmative consent and the whole issue with that. And she's like, well, you need affirmative consent because a lot of women are afraid to say no to men. And I'm like, if a woman if a woman is afraid to say no to a man who wants to have sex with her, then why wouldn't she be afraid to not to say yes to a man? Mm-hmm. How is that a valid argument? It's like, well, women are so scared of saying no because they're afraid men will just rape them. And it's like, well, if you need a yes to have sex, how's that going to solve the problem? See, and I don't think she ever really thought about it. It's like, well, that's a good point.
Yeah, it's like, well, I've pressured people into sexual things, which I'm not proud of, but it's like, it's not just men. Hello, like, women I've been sexually assaulted by women. Women have tried to pressure me into doing sexual things with them, and I've had to be like, no, sorry, I'm not interested. And like, I've been around a guy who I think he was a virgin. I'm not sure, honestly. But we every time he would come over, I would want to do sexual things with him. And he'd literally be like, I thought you said we were just gonna like hang out. And I'm like, we are just hanging out. And it's like, you just need to not be afraid to speak up and be like, come on, like, I don't want to do this. And if they try to force you to do something, fucking make sure you don't get hurt if possible, and fucking report it. Report it immediately, not like a week later, maybe a day or so later. Do it immediately as soon as you can.
Reminds me of that joke I sent you. Mother's talking to her daughter, and it's like, if a boy touches your boobs, you say, don't. And if a boy touches your vagina, you say, stop. And the little girl, not the little girl, but, the daughter, I assume she's over age for this joke's purpose, but she's like, well, the boy touched both my vagina and breast, so I said, don't stop.
That's a good one. Oh, that's
But
great.
it's like I think you told me the story about your friend who was at a bar and some woman came up and grabbed his dick in public, and he apologized to her. And this is
me. He apologized to me.
Oh, he apologized to you. And this is what now men are being conditioned to do.
Well, I guess he apologized to her too. He was like, "I'm sorry, but I don't want to have sex with you." Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
But it's like this is what men are being trained to do now. I mean, Mr. Misanthropic tells us that, to go to college, he had to take a course on affirmative consent and how men are horrible rapists and need to be taught not to rape. And it's like, men are so scared now to be with women. And it's like, then you get these women complaining like, where are all the real men? No man wants to date me. It's like, yeah, you have us scared that if we have sex with you, you're going to accuse us of rape. And even if we can prove that it wasn't rape, the accusation alone is enough to destroy our lives. And this is the reality we're in. And this is why I'm saying, don't let women push you around. Be a little bit smarter. Have some standards. If, it's not your ideal choice to be with the girl, don't give her a pity fuck, because she's going to use that to try to make a name for herself. Try to make sure you know who a chick is. And that's not foolproof, but spend some time. Delay sex. And I know that goes against our best interest, guys. We want to fuck not even on the first date. We want to fuck on the first meet. It's like, hey, how you doing? Can I fuck your pussy? Sex. Because it's a minefield, in all honesty. And every, 3 of 4 girls are looking for victim points to say that they were raped and they deserve their 15 minutes of fame. That's what it seems like. It's only 1 in 4 girls that are actually somewhat saying that if you treat them right, they're going to treat you right.
What did you say? What did you start that with? You said something that made me think of something, and I fucking completely forgot.
Well, I was talking about the guy who his dick got grabbed in public by a woman.
Yeah. Do you remember what you said after that? I fucking completely forgot. Shit. I feel like it has something to do with either colleges or something to do with rape. I don't remember. Fuck.
Well, I'm talking about how now boys are basically I was talking about Mr. Misanthropic, how he took a college course on, how not to rape.
Mm-hmm.
That all men are rapists and women are delicate little flowers, and it's men's responsibility for everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I agree that there's a certain amount of responsibility that men have, but women have their own fucking responsibility. And the whole purpose of this is to strip women of their responsibility. They're not responsible for any of their actions, so they can claim victim points.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I said, delay sex. Don't have sex with women on the first date. If they're insistent on it, say no.
Yeah.
We have to weed out the women to find the ones that are worth our time.
Yeah. I mean, the first time, well, not the first time me and Andrew hang out, but the first time we actually got some alone time together, we made out, we touched a little bit, but I was like, I think I want to wait to do, anything else. I want it to be special, and that turned out good. So, I mean, one night stands are cool, and it's just like, you know, the lady that you're banging like randomly is probably not going to be the chick that you want to like pursue, because she's probably going to ask you for like cigarettes and gas money later.
I know what happened between Andrew and Medusa's first time. And Medusa is like laid it on thick. That's not what happened. Medusa's like, I want to suck your dick. And Andrew's like, let's wait. Let's make it special. It's like, no, fuck me right now. And she took off.
No, I did.
Andrew was a perfect gentleman, but
I made the first move, kind of. I told him, you can touch my boobs if you want. He was like, okay. It was great. But yeah, I mean, women are just way more sexual than they want to admit. And
well, of course they are.
I mean, it's obvious. Like, come on. Like, stop acting like you don't like sex. Like, that it. Ah, fuck. I almost kind of remembered what I was thinking about. I think it was like in comparison to... Oh, yes. Okay. Yes, now I remember. Okay. So people or feminists like to say, you know, being falsely accused is nothing compared to being raped. So you're saying that possibly like a minute to a couple hours potentially, or days potentially if you were kidnapped, is comparable to being constantly harassed, disowned by your family, fired from your job, outcasted from your community, and just constantly ridiculed every day for something that you didn't do. That is not as bad as something that didn't last nearly as long as a fucking lifetime, like, unless you change your fucking name and move to Guatemala or some shit. Like, chill the fuck out. That was what I was thinking.
Well, you know what? To play devil's advocate just a tiny bit, I promise I won't stay here long, but rape is pretty bad. It can cause PTSD, and it could be something that afflicts women for years to come. That it could actually be traumatic enough that they might not have sex and need therapy to get themselves out of it. So let's be fair, sex is traumatizing. But a false rape accusation?
Oh, no, not sex. Rape.
Once you're accused of raping someone, it doesn't matter if you're found innocent. It doesn't matter if the preponderance of evidence proves you couldn't have done it. You are always labeled a rapist. And yeah, like you're saying, you know, you'd have to change your name and move to Guadalajara, the airport, not the country. Sorry, I was just thinking that when you said Guatemala. But, you know, you basically have to reinvent yourself and be someone completely different just to get away from the accusation. But it's always hanging over your head that one day someone might figure it out and boom, you're in the same position again. And to me, that is far more traumatizing than rape. Because here's the major difference between a woman getting raped and a man falsely accused of rape is that there are services designed to help women out of this situation, to get the help they need. There is no service that helps men falsely accused of a crime.
Men get killed for being falsely accused.
Well, I was falsely accused in high school because I dated a chick for 2 months and it was a lackluster relationship. But then after we broke up, she told everyone that I beat her and that she was only with me because she loved me. Yeah, we were only together for 2 months. But I had a friend who threatened to beat me up. He actually grabbed me by the collar and raised his fist and was ready to do it. And this bitch was standing right there watching the whole thing happen. And she was talking about how I was doing this. And he had a trigger moment because he watched his mother get abused. I kind of understand. But he was ready to kick my ass. And I just stood there. Because I felt like if I fought back, it would have demonstrated that I was a violent person. Now, he eventually ceased, but it was like a good 2-3 minutes where he is just standing there ready to kick my ass because some dumb bitch wanted to make a name for herself by being a victim. So I've been in that situation. I got lucky because a lot of men, when they're in that situation, they will get their ass kicked because women speak, men listen.
Well, women listen too, and that's the thing. Like my ex-girlfriend, who I was dating 2 girls at the time when I was in high school. I know I'm such a player. But this one chick, I honestly, like, literally the only thing that made me believe her was the fact that I couldn't understand why someone would make this up. Like, why? Why would you make this up? For what reason? Just because you don't like the person, I guess? But yeah, so one of my good friends who I had previously had sex with, she told me that when they were younger, like years ago, I don't even know. They were only like 18 at the time, so they couldn't have been that much younger. But she said that their families were friends, and that one day they were in a barn together, and suddenly he attacked her and made her suck his dick and other stuff. And the way she told it was so, like, the way I remember her telling it was so ridiculous. I really don't know how I wasn't just like, are you serious right now? And so, but that made me so angry. It made me hate him. So I became that guy. I became that person that was like, I was just a chick, so I couldn't really beat him up or anything, obviously, but I was just so angry for no reason. And then, I would like see him, like we would go to football games or whatever. We'd see him walking around and I'd just be like fuming, like, like, I can't believe that he did that. And, months later after I broke up with her, like I talked to him and, he was like, obviously that's not true. Like, just rationalized with me, and I was like, yeah, that was pretty fucking stupid. But I was ready to believe her. I was like, yeah, totally. I'm like, why would you lie about that? Like, I don't think I had ever even heard of anybody lying about that before, honestly, before that.
Well, it kind of reminds me of the plot to the movie Valentine. It's a horror kind of movie that stars David Boreanaz, although he's not really in the film that much. But he ends up being the killer, spoiler alert. But the film is that when he was like in junior high or whatever, he was like the geeky kid that no one liked. And, he was getting rejected by all the girls. And there was the fat girl who's like, hey, you want to go under the bleachers and fool around? So they're under there making out, and then a whole bunch of boys find them, and her reaction is, he touched my boob, and they kicked his ass. Just right then and there. And yeah, then years later he comes back and tries to kill everyone, but I'm not saying that.
Oh my god! Wait, what is that movie called?
Valentine, I think it is. It was like Valentine? A horror Valentine movie.
I'm gonna have to look that up.
But as David Boreanaz, so look up his.
David Boreanaz?
Yeah, Angel from the Buffyverse and Booth from Bones.
I think I know who you're talking about.
But it also reminds me. I try to separate my writing career from my activism, but I knew a girl that was like, I thought she was red pilled, and I was kind of fooled on this one. But I was talking to her about the honey badgers and that I do activism and all of that. And it's like, oh, yeah, that's cool. You know, I support a lot of that. And I'm like, well, they're doing a show right now, and it was about Bill Cosby's rape. And she was so disgusted by it. It's like, how can anyone believe that those women are making that up? And I'm like, wow, she's one of those. That just that it's the seriousness of the crime. The more heinous a crime is, the more people believe someone is automatically guilty of it. And if it's a man's word versus a woman's word is believed.
Mm-hmm.
Which makes me always question why women's like, well, you know, we live in a rape culture today where women are not believed. I'm like, what woman is not believed without substantial evidence to demonstrate that she is actually lying? Most of the time, women are automatically believed. You look at news stories today, and we're starting to see a lot more often that women are being prosecuted for falsely accusing men of rape. And in these stories, these women claim they were raped, and the police respond like she got raped, and they go and they do an investigation. And most of the time, it ends up being that these women come forward and admit that they lied. But it's like the police wasted all of this time because they automatically believe she was telling the truth.
Yeah. Okay. It's been almost an hour. If anybody has questions in the chat, let us know. Nobody's been in the chat for a minute. I don't know if my chat is loading still.
Yeah, I've been looking and no one has really said anything for a little bit. So let's go ahead and end it.
Yeah.
This is kind of a filler episode. I'm just kind of waiting until like the third week of May because it's International Boys Day. So I'm really looking forward to that. Did you see that post I made on Facebook?
Yeah, I did.
That just makes me so happy to know that exists, because when we designed the calendar, that was one of the things that shocked me, is that there was no International Day of the Boy. There's an International Day of the Girl, but there's no holiday for boys, and technically there still isn't. And when I designed the calendar, there wasn't, but by the time the calendar was released, there was. And the guy who started International Men's Day back in 1999 made a day for boys, which is May 16th. I'll need to double check that, but you can go on their website, International Boys Day, to find out more. And I kind of want to do something special for that, but I'm not sure what at the moment. But, you know, that's just great. But unfortunately, it's like he actually petitioned like governments and the UN to make it a holiday, and no one bit. So it's like, okay, then I'm just going to decide there is one. And he's got clout. He made International Men's Day. So
hell yeah. Well, I know what we're putting on the calendar next year.
Yes, we will definitely include that holiday on there, because it's sad that it takes like a rogue person like that to try to forcibly add it on there. But International Women's Day and International Day of the Girl automatically get added to the UN's calendar.
Maybe that'll be my new protest. My new big campaign. I'll run with that and then never accept a position. Vote for Vanessa. What are you running for? Vote for Vanessa. International Men's Day and Boys Day. Oh, that'd be great. I might actually make a fake campaign video like that. That'd be so funny. Either that or I'm just really tired and everything is funny to me.
Yeah, you're not getting enough oxygen to your brain.
Not true. Do you want to start shilling yourselves?
Okay, so we're probably going to be changing how we do shilling on this show, but for right now, check out all my stuff down below. I still have a Patreon because I'm not popular enough for Patreon to hate me. I'm trying to save up for health insurance so I can try to get better, because let me tell you, not working is probably one of the worst hells of my life. I fucking hate it. I have watched every TV show I've ever wanted to watch. Some of them like several times, but I really want to go back to work. And if I can get a doctor to actually help me, maybe I can, but of course that's going to cost money. And, you know, I do these videos for fun, but, you know, I also am hoping that people appreciate the work that I attempt to do on here. I mean, if I wasn't disabled, maybe I could do a better job. So please donate to my Patreon to try to help me get health insurance until I actually have enough. It does help me with like some day-to-day stuff. Right now I'm only getting about $30, but that $30 goes a long way for me. So any little bit you can do can help. If you don't want to do Patreon because, you know, they're left-leaning and they discriminate against anyone on the right. I mean, I'm not technically on the right. I mean, I'm a liberal, but I'm so right from the alt-left that I might as well be on the right. I do have PayPal. That's also down below. Just go ahead and send it to me directly. If you don't want to do either one of those, because PayPal is starting to go that direction as well, that they'll ban the right, find my book on Amazon. I have the book, How to Destroy a Man Now, which has actually recently become a little bit popular because I guess Mars Girl from the channel Awesome fame mentioned how great the book, How to Destroy a Man Now is. And I guess because that book has become more popular, my book is starting to become more popular.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm surprised someone actually praised the other book. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it surprised me that someone told me to take my shirt off. So
I know.
I mean, if that gets me a shilling, you know, I'm happy to do it.
Donate.
Shillings I can get.
No free titties. Donate to Mancat.
But yeah, you know, it's a good book. It basically says don't do anything listed in here. It's just my hope that my book gets popular, Amazon takes it down, and then we can pressure Amazon to take the other book down that actually contains illegal information. By Amazon's own rules, this book shouldn't be on the market, and it is. So help me get my book taken down by buying it. It's only $3. I make $2 from that. So, you know, help a brother out. And Mother Medusa's on the cover.
That's right.
Yeah, that image of her, that's her.
That's my lips. You can jizz all over it and send me pictures.
Well, it's not a physical book.
I know. They can print it out.
If you want to jizz all over your Kindle and then send,
yeah, there you go. No, I would actually appreciate that. Nobody's ever sent me like a jizz picture. Oh, all right. So you know what's going on with me, hopefully. I had to repair my van, which costs about $1,000, over $1,000 actually. And I'm going to be moving out of this house soon. Unfortunately, I didn't want to, but they're making us, so yeah, we got it. We're still searching for a place to move out to, so anything helps. This art back here is for sale. I've got more art all over the place, all mediums pretty much, paint, charcoal, pencil, excuse me. I've got jewelry, I've got fucking clay shit that I made, like I got all kinds of shit. So yeah, all my art's for sale right now, and prints are $10, and still doing boob prints, you know, those are fun. So yeah, all that is available. Just message me and we can talk about the price. Everything goes through PayPal. patreon.com/Medusa's Gorgons. And still got my Amazon wish list, which, I appreciate. I would ask you to consider donating instead, just because it helps me out with trying to move out. But if you do want to send me like a sticker or something, or if you want to donate and send me something, that's cool too. That's in the description. But yeah, I'm selling art, GIFs, photo sets, anything you can think of. Like, literally just DM me and be like, I'll give you money to do this, and I'll be like, okay. Or you can share my stuff, and be like, yo, check this out, and that's much appreciated as well.
Medusa, I'll give you money if you jizz all over a picture of me.
Okay, I can do that. Can we see your feet? You can see my feet if you donate $1 to my PayPal. Also, there is a Macho Show PayPal coming soon. I just haven't officially created it yet. I gotta work on that. So yeah. All right. Thank you everybody for watching. Subscribe to Mad Cat. Check out our show next week. What are you doing?
I'm giving the people what they want.
I couldn't tell if you were like getting ready to scream or like internally screaming.
Oh, Tony can make that guy put on a shirt. I can take a hint.
Yeah. No, I don't mean. I mean, yay, donations.
Now you're telling me to put a shirt on. Make up your mind, chats.
No, they said keep your shirt on. They don't know what they want. All right. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you guys next week. Mwah. Peace.